Welcome to the Select Board meeting for Monday, July 27th. We'll call to order at 6:33 p.m. First item of business, review and potential vote on the agreements for a designer for the elementary school roof and HVAC project with MSBA.
We did not receive those in time for today's meeting,
Okay.
so if we can carry that topic.
What is the deadline on that?
MSBA gave us a 6-week goal of getting both the designer and the OPM contracts. You already finished the OPM. We've had a site visit with the designer and OPM, and we've given them the drawings that we have from 2000 and 2001, what that renovation was. Mm-hmm. We're now looking for documents from 1974, I believe. So I believe that that's part of what is holding them up, but they've scanned and reviewed everything else that's available to date. So we have made MSBA aware that we're doing our best to get everything done within 6 weeks, and they said to please reach out if we needed a little more time with that.
So they sounded flexible?
They weren't going to up front tell me that we could have more time, but they wanted to let us know if we were encountering an issue. So we've, like I said, we've done all of the work that we could do up in advance. We're now searching for these 1970 documents, which must have existed when we did the renovation. So we're not sure why they're not with the renovation from the 2000s.
Have you checked in the safe?
I went to a certain somebody's vault and I accessed those records.
I think that we looked at the 1974, I've seen the 1974 plans somewhere. They might have been in the downstairs when the old Union 28 was there. And do we have any more of those boxes?
So I have it's a 4-tier filing cabinet that came from the Union 28 building. We're trying to get access into that. The only other thing I can think of, it's possible that the remaining files, my understanding is they went to climate controlled storage. So to follow up the superintendent's office to see if they can search those records.
Okay. I seem to recall when Deb Smith and I were doing the thing for the library feasibility, and we came across those documents. So
maybe.
I think they exist. I just think we have to figure out where they are.
Exactly. So that's the one thing that I think that's holding us up.
Okay. When is the 6 weeks up?
So technically they sent it to us, I believe, on June 17th. So we're coming close to that 6-week time frame. So I'll reach out to MSBA with an update and let them know that our goal is the first meeting in August, that we'll have it in front of you. So hopefully we just need the additional 2 weeks.
Yeah, because that's probably this Wednesday, roughly.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion on that one?
Negative. Nothing.
Okay. FY27 Select Board Organization of Officers and Liaison Assignments. It's that time again. Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to start off by saying I'm not prepared today to want to take the chair. I will be in the next round. I'd be more than happy to take it.
All right.
But I'm not prepared this meeting to do that.
Willing to continue?
I'll make
It's
the
up to you
motion
guys.
that we appoint Jacob Smith as chair of the select board.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And then liaisons. So these are the liaisons the way they were last year.
Correct.
I did notice that we probably need to be adding an IT one as well. Since we're
That's a great
establishing
observation.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
a full department with a department head. So
Right.
that's another one to add to the list. And I don't know if anybody has any preferences on who has who or what. Or Jackie, if you're...
Well, my only concern is that, well, it's not so much a concern. I don't want to violate the open meeting law because I'm still on a number of committees. So I'm wondering, for ease, if I just make sure that I take the ones that I'm on the elected boards so that there's no inadvertent meeting with 2 select people with the liaison. That's all.
Right, if they joined the meeting.
Right, if they joined the meeting and I was there,
Now there's a quorum.
now there's a quorum. So that would really, out of that list, it's the Board of Assessors. And then the library trustees, Linda Downs-Benberry is a trustee, so there could be a potential conflict with Bill if he was still on that one. But I'd give up one of my other ones if Bill wanted it.
Now are you still on all the boards and committees you were on before, or did
Yes,
you resign?
so I'm still on the Open Space Committee, I'm still on the Planning Board, I'm still on the Recreation Commission, and I'm on the Board of Assessors. I don't think I missed anything. I am on the Tech School Committee, so I don't, that would be fine if, and I see that was in Jim's old list, so.
Bill, thoughts?
I was going to ask Brian, I thought that generally where there's a conflict, like my wife is on the trustees, that I thought there was a law that if you announce that there was no conflict and you were aware of any outstanding issues, that you could still proceed in that capacity.
So through the the state ethics law, there's a number of disclosure forms.
Right,
I want to say there's 8 or 9 of them.
right.
And I am by no means an expert on which the correct one is,
me
but
either.
typically it's a phone call to that office. You explain the situation, they tell you what form it is, and it's usually just putting it on record with the town clerk's office, and then whatever board would have the appointing authority. So maybe it's back to the select board.
Yeah.
There's a practice, I guess, question that you all are discussing right now, and so my recollection of how this assignment came to be, Selectman Loyne, his wife had taken the elected seat onto the Board of Trustees 3 years ago and was concerned of an appearance of conflict. And so I think at that time the switch happened with Selectman Vasteresh at the time. So I agree with you. There is a disclosure form that is likely appropriate, and we could certainly make that happen if that's something you're interested in.
In all honesty, Bill, if you want to stay the liaison, feel free. We're just looking at the
Yeah.
list saying, how could we not have any potential conflicts?
Right. Well, I don't, I think I'd prefer to go the contact the town clerk and sign the
Okay.
appropriate forms.
Okay.
I don't, because I have no, my wife and I, although we might discuss things, we don't take it to the next level or the next step, so.
Okay.
What she does is what she does, and what I do is what I do, so.
Understood.
I see Jim was the Franklin Regional Transportation Authority representative. Do you know when they meet?
I want to say it's quarterly meetings.
And do you know the day?
I thought it was a Thursday, but I can verify that.
Because I might have a conflict.
I can certainly follow up on that.
And the same thing with the Franklin Regional Council
That's
of Governments.
Almost always on a Thursday, and that is quarterly.
And
I actually think it's the third Thursday.
yes, I think it is the third Thursday. I would not be able to be their representative.
I don't mind taking one of those.
Okay.
I have no preference, so. I was on the Franklin Regional Transportation Authority before, so I don't mind taking that.
If the Franklin Regional Council of Government meets on the third Thursday of the month, I have a planning board meeting. So unless that gets changed, which I don't think it will, given everybody's schedule, would not be able to attend the meetings.
The board's already appointed me the alternate representative on both of those, so I can serve if there's no other board member at this time that can go. It's up to you.
I'll take it.
Both of them, or just?
Well, I can
transit?
take both of them. I mean, I was on both before.
What time? When
so
are they?
I don't have a problem with it.
They're quarterly.
Yeah.
I believe for
Thursday.
COG is Thursdays. It's usually at 6 to
Yeah,
7:30
Yeah, 6, 7.
in Greenfield, and the FRTA quarterly. I just can't recall the start time, but I Happy to research it.
Yeah, I mean, I would be happy to stay, to do that one. I just want to make sure it's not in conflict with,
It would interfere with planning.
right, or if it was on a my Wednesdays are pretty packed because I have Franklin County Tech School and I'm on subcommittees on that, so that's the only thing.
Do you want to take the Franklin Regional Council of Governments then? And if FRTA works,
Yep,
then you can
that
do
would,
it?
I would
Yeah,
do my
sure.
best.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
if not, we can revisit
Okay.
Okay.
when we find out when that is.
Okay.
And then are we moving assessing or are you keeping it, Bill?
No, I was going to keep it.
Okay.
Would it not be a conflict if?
It will make a quorum if we.
Oh, right, that's
yeah,
right.
It'll meet a quorum. That's
If you
what
go
we're
to a
not-
meeting, yeah, I mean, meeting with
yeah.
anyone but Jackie on there, it would be fine, but you can't go to the meeting or call it as a
Right.
joint, right?
Right, right. Okay, I'll give it up.
Okay.
And then if we're adding IT, then I probably, at least for now, need to take that one.
Sure.
Yep, it sounds like it's right. You're the best qualified person for that.
Yeah, true. A little interesting.
You're going to take IT?
I'll take IT, yeah,
Okay.
just see if I can offload something. Maybe,
Do you want? I'm familiar with the tax collector's office, or
yeah, if you want to,
I could be the liaison for that.
sure, that would work.
I know I just gave myself more work, but so.
There's a lot of bullets. If they were numbers, I'd be worse. I'll have to count them. But all right, so a few moves and any other changes? Would either of you want to take veterans by any chance?
Well, I don't know. It's.
Veterans agent? Would either of you
do you want
take?
it, or we're both veterans, Bill? So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Would you like
Doesn't
it?
matter to me. I don't see it. Where is it?
It's third from the bottom on my list.
Oh, okay.
Under Tru- yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right, thank you. I think that'll work. And I'm trying to remember, but I think Northville EMS is Thursdays as well, quarterly. But that's all right.
Somehow that
We'll
became the
get
meeting
those
night.
plotted out eventually here and figure out where they land, and you can come back to it if needed. Okay, good enough for now?
Yep.
All right, send them
Okay.
out.
So vote on those liaisons as amended.
Make a motion, we adopt the FY27 liaison list as amended.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Excuse me. Review of meeting minutes, July 13th and July 14th, 2026.
I make a motion, we accept the meeting minutes of Monday, July 13th as written.
Second. Any discussion?
None?
All in favor?
Aye?
Aye. Opposed?
Right.
I should abstain.
Okay.
I make a motion, we accept the meeting minutes of Tuesday, July 14th, 2026
Second.
as written.
Any discussion on those?
None?
All in favor?
Aye.
One
Abstain.
abstention. Yeah.
Review and potential vote on professional engineering services proposal for Lillian Way tie and bond. So this is the one we discussed at one of the last joint meetings with Finance and Capital, right? Moving forward
Correct.
on.
I read it through. I didn't have any issues. So I would make a motion to engage Tie and Bond Incorporated for professional engineering services for Task 1 of the Lillian's Way Water Utility Improvement Project in the amount of $31,000 and to authorize Brian Smith, Town Administrator, to execute all necessary agreements.
Second?
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Review and potential vote on professional engineering service proposal for River Road tie and bond. This is the full length we decided, right? Through
This is
corner
the
of
full
Pratt, right?
length.
Yep.
Yep, this will take you right to Pratt Street.
I read through everything. I didn't have any concerns. I make a motion to engage Ty and Bond Incorporated for professional engineering services for Task 1 of the River Road Water Main Improvement Project in the amount of $68,600, and to authorize Brian Smith, Town Administrator, to execute all necessary agreements.
Second?
Any further discussion?
None?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Review and potential vote on professional engineering services proposal for Erving Center Clarifier Project, Ty and Bond.
So I got the clarifying answer that you all asked for at your last meeting, which is that design services are not covered under the SRF. So there's no,
Not eligible.
they're not eligible reimbursement costs. So there's no advantage to waiting.
So they're not eligible not only for reimbursement, but for the loan program at all?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So we'd be responsible regardless to do the engineering through permitting on our own. The SRF, if approved, would cover the construction phase, and the engineering to do the administration of the construction phase would be covered and eligible.
So task 3 would not be bidding?
Pull test
Bidding
back
is
up.
bidding is 3, 4 is construction.
I was
effort.
going to ask Mr. Devine at Mass DEP just for clarification on that, but my experience is bidding is considered part of the engineering phase.
3? Okay.
Correct.
Got it. So 3 through 3 would be our responsibility some other
Right.
way.
But at this stage, we're not ready, and because we're not ready with the SRF announcement, I'm not sure that you wanted to proceed with all of it at this time. May make sense to phase it.
I think in our last discussion was a joint with Capital Finance, and they were talking about wanting to hear about that too. That was a question, a group question, I think, that
Right.
came up. So I
Right.
think we should come back together, and because we talked about
Yep.
how we should proceed and
Correct.
meet with them. I think we have a joint planned in the.
In August, you were going to re-meet to look at the trash collection program.
Yep. Okay. So maybe we carry till then. I don't think we're in any time crunch on this one or constraint really to hurry
Okay.
up. So.
Correct. And just for context, the application was submitted back on the 22nd, I believe.
Excellent.
So in advance of the deadline.
Okay. Any other details or information on this one?
None?
Okay. We'll carry for next joint.
Care for your joint meeting. Got it.
We do need to start thinking about a conversation with Erving Industries as well
Right.
Yes.
on this project and
Yep.
kind of how we're proceeding with that.
Absolutely.
At least in parallel path. Review and potential vote on draft request for proposal for the redevelopment of the former IP mill.
Can I ask a friendly favor?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be possible to jump to the complete streets topic so Mr. McCory can leave?
I suppose so.
Thank you.
Come on up. We'll come back to IP mill.
Thank you.
Review and discussion regarding proposed complete streets improvement for Church Street and North Street. Welcome, Glenn.
Thank you. Two very multi-page proposals. I don't know if you all have had time to look them through in detail.
It was riveting.
It's very technical. A lot of turn counts, and
Yeah, a lot of data.
would it be helpful just to summarize what this is and what we're talking about? Or is everybody up to speed?
Well, I mean, I think we're generally up to speed. but
Well,
you wanna-
I'm up to speed.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was gonna
yes.
say, I read it. I mean,
Generally, this is the discussions that we've had about North and Church
Yeah.
and Route 2 and
Correct.
traffic calming and
Correct.
concerns about speed and
Correct.
congestion,
Correct.
pedestrian safety, et cetera.
Correct.
For those listening,
Correct.
because I think everybody sitting here is pretty familiar
Correct.
or lives in the vicinity. So, and so this is the result of that engineering work that we, or complete streets,
Correct.
design work that we requested from Green International.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're working with MassDOT on Route 2, it was a
Yeah.
good reason to have them because they're very familiar with that project also.
And they're already going to have all the adjoining data and
Correct.
right.
Right.
intimate information there. Yep. So they have a few different alternatives that they've proposed.
Correct.
And at some point here, I'm assuming we want to have a public information session.
This Wednesday, 6 o'clock
6
in
o'clock.
this room.
Is it posted?
Yep.
It went out to all the neighborhood residents.
Is it,
It's posted on the website
is it posted
to
on the
where?
board?
Went out where?
to all the residents. There's a mailing
On
group
Persian North only?
who's been coming to the meetings and who's asked for updates. It's also posted on the website,
Got it.
put out as a news item. Everybody's invited, of course.
Of course. No, I know. I didn't recall seeing one, so I wasn't sure how far we went. When, what time was it?
6
6
o'clock.
o'clock.
Are we doing more than one? Or are we
We can have as
recording
many as the three of you would like us to have.
it? Just ask.
We want this, Glenn and I were talking about earlier today. There's a lot here, as you all have noted. I gave you just the information that a grant round is available to us now, but by no means should we rush with this. We want this to be a solution that is, to the best of our abilities, the solution that the residents in the town wants. And if that means more sessions, if that means more revisions, we want to get this as close to being right as possible.
So I'm going to go to the Wednesday meeting because I did read through it. I personally wasn't thrilled with either option,
Okay.
and I thought that it was going to create issues either way, like an increase in traffic for Church Street and an increase in traffic or confusion because North Street's only going to be one way for a certain amount, and the bump out design was kind of interesting.
The chicane?
Yes.
Canes?
So I was hoping to get a little more clarity and to see the big picture at the Wednesday meeting. But this is a huge change for those people
Yeah.
that live in the area and those people that travel that route.
Well, we don't care about the travel people.
I
I can say
understand.
that lively. But,
But it does have an impact, and
Right.
I'm also a little concerned
Right.
about the impact on businesses with the change. The businesses with Bagels and More and with Fliss Market and the candy store and things like that. I am a little concerned at the potential for future businesses down the road. So I was really, I wanted a little more clarity on that.
For anybody who is listening, and those are points that were certainly discussed in great detail at the March, I think it was March 11th
Yep.
session that we had, and then there was also a previous meeting specifically on Route 2 that was held last year. Same themes came up. The topic of a one-way potentially on North has been discussed at all of these sessions, and the request by those who were present was, if a one-way was to be considered, that it was to be North Street North up to where it is at Church Street as an intersection. I don't recall specific conversation one way or the other about the options for Church Street, either remaining two or remaining a one-way south. So that does feel new, and that really should be discussed in detail. But the request for North, if it was to be a one to be northbound, has been consistent at all the meetings from the residents. But you're right, it is a change. And that was specifically not only for the residents who live on the street, but on the businesses who are relying on Route 2 traffic. They were asking for that intersection to be there. More from a geometry perspective, coming south on North Street and trying to make that turn, specifically a left-hand turn onto Route 2, is quite challenging. And so the clear sight is much more favorable for the southbound on Church.
But also noted that Church Street really kind of needs to stay two-way travel because of Highland Ave.
Right.
You know, there's a business owner up there that if it's a southbound only, he's not going to get equipment. He's not even going to get a pickup, to make the turn off of the Church Street Bridge onto Highland. So Church Street really needs to stay a two-way.
Highland does present a complexity.
Propane trucks, oil trucks, delivery, anything. You're not going to make that swing off of Church Street Bridge, even with the new alignment, because it doesn't change much on the Church Street side.
I guess one of the questions that popped up in my mind was will be directing all the volume of the vehicles over the new bridge. And I was surprised at the count. I mean, I knew there was a lot of traffic, but it's like 1,000 cars or more a day. And so I'm sure that the bridge design took that, or I'm hoping they took that into
Yes.
account, that it wouldn't just be the little bridge that it was, but it was going, we're basically redirecting all the traffic up through it, right? And so, or down through it if it becomes a one-way. So that was just one of the questions that I had over it.
Yeah, the bridge was not designed for a one-way flow, single lane.
Yes,
It's
it's always
designed
been,
for both ways.
Correct,
for
correct.
both ways. And the traffic counts, we had them prior to the bridge being reduced, right?
Correct, we did.
And the majority of the traffic was church, right? Over
Well,
north.
we had them done through right before the speed bump and after the speed humps were installed also, so those are probably the latest ones.
But I was thinking before the bridge was congested
In
in one way
2001.
on church. Now
Yes.
we have the rates before, and I think the
was
majority
either
was still
2018 or
across.
I was say it was
church.
around 2018 or 19.
So it'd be good to probably just compare how does those look versus the numbers in these proposals.
absolutely.
My recollection was there was at least a slight majority, if not a significant majority, that was church over north. In terms of, because it was a
Yeah.
wider road and
Yeah.
it was faster.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably people felt like it was faster.
Well,
Being honest.
the line of sight to get in and off of Church Street is, I mean, to get off North
North
Street
is
is
not
awful.
good.
It
Yeah,
just
right.
it's awful. So like I said, I was like, oh, but
Yeah, I'd like to go too. I have lots of questions and, or just like to hear it too, but I know we're not available on Wednesday, so we won't be here in time, so.
And the Flag Hill Road, they mentioned that it was a recent purchaser of Flag Hill Road. It's my understanding it's just going to be a single-family home, but it does bring up the fact that Flag Hill Road is rather tricky to get on and off of on either direction. And so that's why I wanted to go on Wednesday, because I wanted to see how they were going to deal with the people coming off of Flag Hill Road.
It would be the upper side of Flag Hill that they'd be coming off of. So Flag Hill will be a one-way off of North Street, but
To hit
two-way
the rise.
to, the other side, so you could come on or off the upper side of Flag Hill.
Correct.
So it'd be one way north on the south side,
Correct.
Correct.
like
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
one way north,
Yeah.
you'd be
Okay.
going up only,
Yep.
and then Flag Hill itself would be two way,
Correct.
all the way.
No, because you can't come down the lower side of Flag Hill because that would be going against traffic on North Street.
Well,
So to go to that first home, you have to go all the way out to Route 2 and back up north and up Flag, because the driveway's on the south side of it. You talking about the south side of it?
Yeah, you're going to go up North Street regardless to get to that. So the south side entrance of it would be a one-way to the top of it. So the one house that's at the bottom, in a potential house where Jeff Dubé is building,
Yeah.
it'd be one way to the crest of that.
So if you were coming southbound on north, you have to go all the way out on Route 2, loop around and come back up north to get in your driveway.
I think that we should make
Or-
sure that that's clear to the residents of
That's
Flag
the
Hill
whole reason.
Road, because
And
that
again,
is,
that's why this is
I'm
happening
not saying
Wednesday
that,
also.
that there's a better option.
yeah,
It's
and just,
Yeah.
a significant
Yeah.
thing to be aware of, right? That's true for North Street residents too. I mean,
It's
it's
they
clear
for
it's
North
all of
Street.
North, although
Right.
we've
They can
had
also
some
come
advocating.
down, right, Flag Hill and
No.
turn
No.
up north, up North Street, go north to, going north and then turn on the church.
No,
no, because
one way. One way on Flag Hill on that portion.
Yeah,
On the south portion of Flag
Right,
Hill to
right.
the crest was
Yeah.
one way up only.
okay.
you can go up, you can't come down that way. And you couldn't make the turn to continue, it wouldn't
Right.
be in the right location.
It's too,
Yes, it's
Sharp.
too sharp of a turn.
It's
Double
just like a
back.
Church Street Highland.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the lots are so small, the structures are so close to the layout, and the layout itself is so narrow that making the turns you really need for modern day vehicles, it will always be challenging on these roads.
Well, I hope there's a way to get all of that information out to the residents, because I've been at all of the meetings so far, and there's been scant people attending them. I mean,
Right.
when you count people who came and
Yeah.
their husband and wife team,
Yeah.
there's hardly anyone there.
Well,
The town planner did also walk the neighborhood, was putting leaflets on doors, knocking, talking to residents that he encountered. So between the emails, the posting on the
Right.
website, and door knocking, we're trying. But
Yeah.
again, we can hold as many of these information sessions
well,
as the three of you would like.
I'm wondering if we hold another one, if we set it up so we can televise it, so those that don't make the meeting at least can view it if they want to.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Probably in general with info sessions, because if people can't make it, I can't, Deb can't and stuff, so there are people who would attend but may not be able to just because of timing, so
Okay.
in the future, if we can schedule those in.
Yeah, and just like all these, being the first meeting with this, with a design, there's gonna be a lot of feedback from the residents. So I don't think we've ever done a once and done on these projects, so.
None of these.
No.
And I doubt that I'm just assuming they didn't think about or take into account what changes when the Swamp Road Bridge is back and High Street with a new design, because it's going to have an impact there too. With traffic flow. Because if you've changed the flow down here, not only is it already affecting it now,
Right.
because the bridge isn't there, we put the bridge back, it'll
You're talking about
seemingly return to
State
the way
Forest.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, or High Street. If this traffic flow is different, then there's probably some impact when that bridge is back too.
right.
If someone doesn't want to travel that's another option. May not be significant beyond returning to what it was,
Right.
but it's an impact in the overall area that we're affecting here. All right, I see the chicanes, but I have to ask, what is that viewpoint supposed to be? Where are we in that picture? Do you know?
I don't.
I'm making my way through all of the turn counts.
140 in the packet, page 140. It's the first, like
That
overhead.
needs to shrink.
It's okay, just curious. Maybe
So
I
you're
should
talking
just
about
zoom
you're talking about the photo right in the middle of it.
in. Huh? The one that says top 2-foot chicane, typical.
So if you're
Proposed.
my comprehension of what this is trying to show you is that you've got a pedestrian sidewalk on one side. You can see a bit of a fog line there. That is part of the travel lane, and there's a sidewalk on the other side behind the chicane, and so it's bumping out from that sidewalk, sort of towards the other sidewalk, and then you'll see in the distance there's a similar structure, the chicane, on the opposite side. So you're creating almost like an S pattern for the vehicle to move through.
And how is that going to affect plowing?
Not good.
So I'm thinking,
Small one plowing.
There's certainly a drawback on the plowing side. The goal of this, from our understanding when the engineers described it with the residents, is that any wheel movement requires the motorist to stop what they're doing. So if you're just going forward, you just go straight and you can go fast. If you have to slow down to make an adjustment around some type of structure, it's going to slow you down naturally and or physically, because if you physically hit that, that's going to definitely slow you down. But does that come at a drawback to plowing? Yes. Does it
To
create
plowing
more,
a full width road, yes, it does.
but does it also create more protection for pedestrians potentially? Yes. So there are trade-offs.
If it's a one-way, it may not be an issue, as much of an issue.
What?
Still,
I'm asking you.
it's still the width of
You
the
said
road,
it's-
whether it's a one way or not,
Okay.
with those chicanes, because you're never going to get the full
Oh,
width.
you're not going to get curb to curb.
You're not going to get
Because
curb
you
to
can't make
curb.
that with the plow.
No.
Absolutely.
and I'll probably ask this question on Wednesday, but is there other alternatives to what they're proposing for a design?
You could make the road straight, and they could paint a chicane in the
Yep.
road. But once people see that, you probably see more of that yellow chicane come off the road because they're just going to go straight.
Right.
It'd just be a bunch of hash marks, to look like a chicane.
Shortly before this, I saw one somewhere. I don't know what it was. I didn't drive it, but it was about some road where tractor trailers try to go up and they can't make it.
Right.
And so they have this massive chicane to start before the mountain, and trucks get stuck in it all the time. I think it's made out of
Yeah.
like something you can drive over if you have to, but
So
it was interesting.
So trucks. So I know we have a truck restriction on that road, right? But local trucks, like delivery trucks to
Yep.
the houses that are
They're still
along
allowed.
that way, will they be able to navigate
Yes.
this road
Yes.
way that it's currently proposed?
But it would make them
Like
go
your
very
average
slow.
Box truck, not a tractor trailer.
Yes, what I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
But there's
the
tractor
church,
trailer business owners.
but not in the section of north that we're talking about.
No.
It's one
And
way,
keep
right?
and keep in mind, we still need to make sure that our roads, not only for those purposes, but our fire apparatus have to be
trucks.
able to go
Yeah,
through
well,
there.
yeah,
So-
yeah.
It's going to be the driver training course.
Right. So while these are meant to be obstacles, and that's going to feel very jarring to some, it's not to reduce the width or make this impossible to navigate. Obviously, large vehicles still have to get through there. The point is to slow everybody down. So yes, it is quite a change.
I see from the design they have a separation between this little island and then pavement and the little graphic that we have in front of us. I would think it would be easier just to attach the island right to the curb there rather than try and keep that area clean of debris and things like that.
I need to ask them what that design was speaking to, but my first assumption was that it was trying to address stormwater runoff and making sure that that wasn't serving as a place for water to pool and ice. But we need to
Oh,
double
you're
check
in the
that.
second chicanes. Okay, now I get it. I was in the first set of chicanes on the page before.
Yes, and,
I was trying to figure out what the 30
Right.
kilometer sign was in our.
oh,
layout.
yes. Well, see how there's that big space? And
Yeah,
that's-
I see that. Yep. That's interesting.
Yes. Well, save all my other questions for Wednesday.
I mean, I don't think North Street's wide enough to put that anywhere.
I don't think so.
It's
I
even
don't
like-
think
There's
so.
a lot in that one.
Right.
If you scroll
right.
up to the page
I don't
before and look at the chicane, and the page
Yeah.
before that's actually a picture,
Yeah.
Yes.
probably somewhere in Europe.
I
where
agree. Yeah, yeah.
it is, that seemed more reasonable.
Yeah.
Where they have the 30 mile an hour chicane. This
Yes,
one over
that
here.
one. Yeah, that's
That,
yeah.
that looks more like the size of our road.
yeah.
Pretty narrow.
I would agree with you. I don't think
I saw
so.
that bigger one. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
That'd fit on Church Street, but I couldn't
Right.
get that on North.
The other concern I have is, and I'll give you an example, lighting on North Street from Route 2 up to Church Street is just terrible. It's pitch black.
Yeah.
I went down just recently, I went up, turned on to North from Route 2, and there were like 4 or 5 kids halfway up. I couldn't even see them. I mean, it's that dark that I didn't see them until I got up on top of them. And
Are there
fortunately, I was
streetlights
going
out?
slow enough. The greenhouse,
Are there street lights that are out?
no, well, if there's lights there, I didn't see any. And
I'll take a
and
ride at
once you
night.
get past once you get to Flag Hill, there's nothing.
Well, the one
Total
is
darkness. Yeah.
so there's one down at the Church Street Bridge for the construction,
Yeah.
which is right across from Mallett's. That one will be going back also.
Oh, okay.
But I'll take a ride at nighttime. It's
All right, yeah.
it's or early in the morning before I come in
Okay.
and see. But there should be enough out there.
That's actually an important topic. So as part of this work, if you're also wanting to reevaluate the street lighting, we have to redo the street lighting on Route 2 anyhow. It's at the end of its useful life. If you just want Cobra headlights and just want to reevaluate how frequently they're placed, we can have that conversation pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If you want to incorporate Church of North into the more decorative street lighting that needs to be replaced on Route 2, this is the time to have that conversation because we have to revisit all that infrastructure.
Church Street is fine, but North Street is currently is just pitch black.
Okay.
We have a similar spacing of streetlights there currently. Okay. Just whether there are issues with them or not. Okay. I mean, it was to get us the first draft review, and
We're just hoping for.
we'll
Okay.
have many more discussions, I'm sure.
We'll have an
Let's
update
carry
after
for-
Wednesday, and
yeah.
then we'll start planning out another session to meet all the requirements you just discussed.
Okay, let's carry for the next meeting then. We can get the feedback from the first one.
Carry to your August meeting.
Yeah, and then we
Okay.
can, based on that, we can decide if there's anything about the following date that we're looking to shift, or, you know, if there's any
Sure.
feedback around that dates that
Okay.
we should be cognizant of as well.
Got it.
Perfect.
Anything from your side?
Yes, but I'm gonna wait till after Wednesday night.
All right, fair enough.
All
Thank
right.
you, Glenn.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Circle back to review and potential vote on draft request for proposal for the redevelopment of the former IP mill.
My way back to that.
So Brian, I did see some comments, and I wasn't sure who they were attributed to.
So we have been working, obviously your long-term partners on this remain the planning staff at the Franklin Regional Council of Governments, as well as our partners at Mass Development. And so the comments you're seeing back and forth are from those peers. They've been working on proposed revisions or questions or comments from their, their backgrounds and their experience working on difficult properties like this. So I worked through as many of the comments that I could, and then I just have a few left, as you noted, that I need to resolve. But also thought it wouldn't hurt to have the three of you see what they were inquiring about. So, but there have been some substantial revisions to this from when it was last used in 2023. One of the pieces of feedback that we were asked to consider was to review and refine, really reduce our requirements for an initial submission. That our bar was pretty high for what we were asking for, in terms we were looking for full scale plans for the concepts and how they were going to lay out the site. And as we've even just seen with Care Drive, how much evolved after the initial submission. And so to be a little more modest with what that expectation was, and a little more open to the idea that the project just naturally will evolve as funding partners are identified and as the project goes through its course. So we did scale back some of what we previously had asked for in those sections. We also had some pretty aggressive timelines. I think there was a very ambitious goal of having a building permit applied for in 90 days, I think is what I had in there. That's not happening. Having a land development agreement signed in 30 days. So we even changed that out to 45.
That's not realistic.
That's not realistic, right? I think that was us being extremely idealistic back then. And so I think our partners are right to recommend that we push those things out. Even the construction window, we always maintained that we wanted the project done within a 10-year period. So that upper limit didn't change. But on our lower end, our more advantageous project, I think, was 2 years to have an occupancy permit. That's also not happening.
No.
So those
In retrospect,
items have all been adjusted. We also had put some very specific conversation in the body of the document about affordable housing. Just to address it, if you remember back then, we were discussing Care Drive amongst, just as a town, we were having a conversation about affordable housing. We didn't remove that, we just put it and actually left it already existed in the comparative criteria. If you're going to propose something with that component, here's some benchmarks that would make your project more advantageous rather than just advantageous or not advantageous. But we reduced that body conversation that was having about that, because that's not necessarily a specific goal that we're stating that we want for the project. You're open to it if you still are open to it, but that's not a specific goal, so devoting a whole section to it didn't make sense. So I think the document's much closer to being a document that's ready to release. As you noted, we have some remaining questions to work through, but we certainly wanted to put it in front of the three of you, have you all take a first read, see if you're on board with getting ready to release this. I can't stress enough that we really need to make an attempt to try to get this out one last time. And by one last time, don't believe if we are unsuccessful with this that we can keep that building in its current condition much longer, and we will have no choice but to proceed with some form of selective demolition. I just don't think we can wait anymore.
I'm all for throwing it out there and seeing if we can get a developer. I'd love to see that site developed. I think it's gonna, there's no drawback to it.
Okay.
It's just a rotting piece of structure right now, and I'd like it to be saved before we can't.
We are updating the website with all the new documents that we've done through the feasibility process that we just did with Mass Development and Epsilon. Those are now available documents to any developer who may be interested in this, so they can see that conversation about what historic tax credits may anticipate or expect of the site to be retained in terms of being eligible for those credits. There is I don't know that it was ever going to be a huge draw for us, but we were in the opportunity zone. Apparently the federal government is retooling the opportunity zone into a 2.0, and we will no longer qualify. So I just removed that reference. Again,
It
I'm not
doesn't
sure.
sound like a 2.0 to me.
I'm not sure that was ever going to be the driving sale point for us, but I did make that revision. We added information about the pump station that you all constructed with time bond and installed, and so we'll make sure that that's clear to everybody that that capacity is ready and available at the site. The only other request is to create a more expansive map inventory in our appendices, and so we're going to work on that too. Oh, there's also one other piece that we changed, some language about a reverter clause. We discussed that in detail earlier this year.
Yep.
And that was a recommendation that came through the investigative work that we did with our consultants at R&D, and a tool that the state used with the Munson State Hospital redevelopment property project. And so I don't think we've got the exact language that you'll end up with. I still think you want council to work on that, but at least we've made it clear that that reverter language is expected. And we included some of the triggers for what that reverter language would include.
So it looks like one of the questions that they have is under proposed uses and affordability. And it's in purple. It says proposals include proposed residential units have at least 40% of the units deed restricted to the at the most 80% of the area median income. And the question is, do we still want that?
So that's in your comparative criteria, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, highly advantageous, yeah.
So that is, yes, that was listed in the body of the document. That's all been removed, but we left it in your comparative criteria because this is where you all get to say what would be ranked most or highly advantageous, or not advantageous. Those are the three statutory buckets. And so that is up for the three of you to decide.
So I'm all for affordable housing. We have a desperate need for it in the area, but we also have a need for other housing. So I want to make sure that we're not leaning too far over one way.
Yep.
But I, from what I remember from the various things I've attended, the affordable housing is where they get a lot of their extra funding from. Is that still true when the developer is there, or do they make more
think-
market rate?
Markets evolve all the time, but my understanding from when we did the consulting work was that at the time, so this would have been this past spring and winter, that was still the case. I don't know that that will still be the case when we release this, but that was the case then.
My concern too is much like Jackie's. I want a language that's friendly to housing, but not to the extent that we exclude someone from being interested in developing the property.
Okay.
And I'd like to, in looking at housing, I'd want to see 80% housing if that was to happen. a developer wanted to do it, but I'd also want to see the high end of that property, if housing's going to go in there, that's a possibility as well.
Okay.
A subject that we would look at and view favorably as well as minimum wage housing.
So by high end, are you talking like higher end condominiums
Yes,
type
yeah,
things?
yeah, yeah.
Or,
Yeah.
So do you, so if you say proposals include proposed residential units having at least 40% of the unit, that's almost half of the units being deed restricted. And I do think that does tie the developer's hands up a little bit. And it's almost too much.
I agree. I think 40% was a lot.
What is the minimum, 10%?
Yeah, which we currently have zero. But when
But 10,
the 18 units plus the other 8 of the multi-generational go online, they'll count. I
That's the-
think it's
that's the stuff-
77
Is where we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
units,
units, yes.
and
So-
all of those are going to qualify?
Yes.
yes.
So we'll still need another 50 units?
Yes.
40 something, 50 something?
Yeah, we will.
So 40% doesn't sound like it's even getting there.
Well,
So, and I'm not saying that one development has to do it all, but
Right.
but
I think that's the point.
going from zero.
You didn't expect this project to do it all.
Right.
If we're being honest, you didn't put 100% affordability initially on this request. That's the proposal that came to you.
Right.
So if you all wanted to keep an affordable component to it, I think the language that is the most important is what's going to become deed restricted, because that cannot be lifted.
Right.
We made, because of the proposal that came forward and you all accepted, we brought to town meeting a 100% restriction that's permanently attached to the deed for this property. So this is forever. It will never be lifted. In some cases, the affordability has a time clock on it, like maybe 30 years, and then it expires. And so if we don't deed restrict it indefinitely, it could have a point in period of time where it lapses, and that's through the federal and state programs that a developer may access. So maybe if you still want a certain amount that is forever affordable and remains on your inventory, maybe you drop it to something like 10% of the proposed housing has a certain affordability that's deed restricted. That doesn't mean that the proposal couldn't come in and say, we're going to do 100% affordable, but what we're saying will be deed restricted is this lower threshold.
Well, I was thinking 20%.
Okay.
That was the number I had in my head with the deed restricted. I mean, if there was there could be a potential for, I don't know, 60 units, right?
Maybe, yeah.
So that would still leave quite a few that could be market, or if they wanted to propose more affordability, but they wouldn't be deed restricted. So maybe they get into that where they do the 10-year, the 15-year, then they don't become
Exactly.
affordable and they become market. I just think it might make it a little more attractive to a developer if there was a little more flexibility. That's all.
Well, it doesn't say that it excludes it. It's just highly advantageous
Well, but
because it's in the grading. I mean, it's not
Correct.
It's
It
not
does-
exclusive.
it's not, but it does rank higher than someone who has a different mix. And I wouldn't want, I'm just saying.
But that assumes that we have that mix. If we have that many developers in that mix, that I guess all I'm saying is that on the other side is the 40% criteria being highly advantageous assumes that we have someone proposed 40%. If no one did, then they're all on the same playing field if they all proposed 20% or whatever, right? It assumes that someone did and it gives them a higher rank.
Yes.
Not just that it's not that you had to have it. So we may not get any proposals that get there
Right.
too. So just to kind of, it's not the same as stipulating it's a minimum
Right.
requirement for the project. That's all. For me, that just I know there's some trade-offs there. I think to me in the not advantageous and stuff, I think for me I get having it in the highly advantageous, but I think making it not advantageous if you don't have 40 isn't right either. I actually think that one on the top of the next page is where I feel like or what is minimum? I don't know I think because you took out the middle language, minimum's not listed anymore. and not advantageous is that only meet the minimum affordable housing requirements? What is minimum?
No, that is what it said before. That's why they're asking. So that is
But
an open
minimum was
question.
defined up in the document before, I believe. We stripped it out, no?
No, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so what is minimum?
So yes, it's a great
I
question.
would
Right.
like to know what minimum is. And I would be fine, I would think that we could go maybe 20% on advantageous, right? Or
Right.
like find to
Yeah.
tier this a little bit, right? If-
Right, because if 40 is the top, then advantageous shouldn't be 40, it should be something lower.
Well, I wanted to understand what is the subsidized housing inventory requirement?
That is the 10%.
So how do you have deed restricted 80% income units that don't meet that? Because that's what advantageous says, is that we have residential 40% that are 80% median income, but don't meet but they don't all meet the requirements for subsidized housing. Or am I reading that wrong?
No, because the top says all affordable units meet the requirements of the town's subsidized housing inventory and are affordable with the deed restriction.
Right.
So the other one is some units meet the requirements, but units are affordable only by deed restrictions.
Which I don't understand, if you've got 40% that are at 80 or less, how they're not all going to meet the subsidy requirement also in both advantageous and highly advantageous. That language
Right.
doesn't make sense to
Right.
me. It seems like there's a difference without a distinction, a distinction without a difference, because I don't think that the second part of the advantageous could happen.
And you're proposing lowering that percentage in the advantageous.
I would, because right now I don't really think they're actually different. Even
No,
though
I don't see much of a difference.
the word says some, but I don't think the sum actually changes anything. But yeah, I would advocate that if we're going to reduce it somewhere, I would reduce it in the middle,
Yeah.
not
Yep,
maybe
that-
on the top.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Yep. I
Are
agree.
you comfortable with the 20?
I'm
25,
yeah,
Bill?
I'd be comfortable with 20.
20?
So 40 is highly, 20 is advantageous, and non-advantageous is
0.
0. Okay,
Minimum.
that's clear. That's clear.
less than 10. I mean, I
That's
don't know.
clear.
I think
I think if we're at 20, we got to be less than 20, right?
so. If you have none, then it's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a mix. We're looking for a development that will create housing in Erving that services all
Population.
income levels.
And I think if we get one that has 10 and one that has 15, they're both not, or they're both somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But we have some way to compare them, right?
Right.
Right.
Yes.
At least they're in a tier.
So that does work to their question, what is a minimum? And yes, clear what is meant by this. If we say 0%, then we've given them a clear threshold to meet or not meet.
So really, it's proposals that only include market rate
Right.
or non-affordable
Right.
units.
Right. Which would be market rate. That's
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or 100%, because affordable doesn't stop at 80, does it? It goes to 100, doesn't it?
So affordable technically is 80 AMI is the
Or
highest.
lower? Oh, okay. So
Lower,
80
yeah.
is the top.
With
Okay.
that being said, to the point that I have to get used to saying this. Select board member Boyden. I paused for a second. I almost said Jackie.
You haven't done it wrong, so.
I'm gonna get the hang of this. To that point, there has been a growing need for housing of all income levels in mixes, so not just 2 bedrooms. A mix of studios and 1 bedrooms. So I know that we've had questions asked of the executive office whether or not there would be some evolution for workforce housing and other forms of housing because they're needed at all levels. And so I expect that there's more guidance coming on that. So just because we're talking about affordability here, and that really is driven to address the town's need to meet our subsidized housing inventory goal, that does not mean that we do not need workforce housing and other forms of housing. And so I do think that we should be open to those and we should encourage those. It's highly needed. There's no funding mechanism right now tied to those. like there is for the subsidized, but that very well could be evolving very soon.
There is a great need for workforce housing, and I think there might be funding in the future because.
Right.
I think the other part of their question up there in the 40% is important not to miss either, which is how do we score something that's highly advantageous because they have 40% housing, but they have no employment, or they don't meet the last bullet in highly advantageous, which was proposals. Well, so I would argue it wasn't a proposal with commercial or industrial, so you disregard it.
Right.
I think that was missed maybe in their question.
Okay.
Because that last bullet of highly advantageous there being proposals include commercial or industrial uses, maximize creation of full-time permanent employment, paying living wage. But it's very specific if that's what's in them. So if you're doing a highly advantageous, primarily housing, then that's not a criteria we grade.
Right.
Because they're saying it's not advantageous. I'll scroll down to the not advantageous. It's create minimal employment. So I think maybe we just need to prefix that one under not.
Okay.
Say for a commercial or industrial
Got it.
proposal, like we did in highly. Because highly and advantageous, the last bullets both start with proposals including commercial or industrial, and it talks about employment.
Mm-hmm.
The third one, the not advantageous, doesn't prefix the employment with commercial industrial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says proposal will create minimal employment, so we should have the same language all through all three tiers.
Right. Because then if you have a primarily housing proposal, then we're not grading that component necessarily. So it's not creating that conflict that they're referencing.
Got it. Okay, we'll make those changes.
Do we have the grading matrix for this already, in theory?
This is your grading matrix.
And each bullet is a grade under highly? How did we do that, or we didn't?
You
build
don't
that
have
yet?
to, for the ease of the review, some people do a 0 for not advantageous, a 1 for advantageous, a 2, just so numerically you can score out. Legally, these categories are the scores. You can't change that. But for the purposes of doing math and doing comparison, you can attribute a number to it. But then you have to translate it back into these categories. Your score, the end result must be it was graded as advantageous or not advantageous.
Well, and I'm saying that only because if you're looking just in the highly bucket and you have a commercial industrial use that hits the maximized employment creation. I don't know what maximized is. Who determined what that number was? Anyway.
Right? It's a good
and
question.
then on the residential side, someone has a 40%, at 80%, they all meet their criteria. So they both get 5s and 0s.
Potentially, yeah.
You know, in the other bucket.
Yeah.
So it's
That's
just
the
to kinda
complexity of this.
How do you grade, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's
Well,
what they're getting at.
Right, and then you would, so say someone proposes just an all housing, and then somebody proposes on all industrial. I think that's where you're getting at. There, we could wind up with the same score in a sense.
Absolutely.
You.
If we score them, and that's where I'm saying, like, is that what is indicated by the criteria?
I mean, are we, I guess the question is, what are we still looking for a mixed use type of facility? So maybe we put a percentage under the commercial and industrial use instead of just broad, like if 40% of the units need to be affordable, does that say that at least 40% of the remaining space is commercial and industrial, or 20%? You know what I'm saying? So that it's you can, because you could have somebody that just wants to develop it into a commercial space, and someone that wants to develop it into residential, and then what happens if they have the same score, and how do you choose? Because you can't, because they both
Right.
met the criteria. So I think we need to come up with a percentage on how much of the, if we truly want a mixed use, then we need to figure out how much of the building we want for housing and how much we want for mixed use.
Right.
So do you want it 100% housing? Do you want, 50-50, 70-30?
I think the voters have been very clear that if they had their preference, it would be 100% industrial and or commercial
Yeah.
Yeah.
back on the tax rolls. That, that I think is the goal, right? I don't
Well.
know that that's real. And I think we've struggled with that. The market's just not there for a building of this size and this complexity. What people want are fresh sites with the opportunity to do new construction. They're not looking for this.
We also have the fact that that may be the preference of those who've been vocal for the most part, but
True.
we also have some of the same people being vocal about the cost of housing and
Agreed.
people not being able to stay and not be able to find housing and
Agreed.
buy houses because the stock isn't there and it's not
Agreed.
affordable.
And
So I think we own that problem and that challenge too, right?
Agreed.
Even if it isn't maybe always the popular topic, I think it doesn't make it unnecessary.
there have been a lot of development of other mills in other communities where they've had a blend of housing and mixed use, and most people that go there love the fact that they can go to a shop or a store or whatever, and those that need housing have housing on the upper stories. I just don't want us to create an issue because we're not clear how much we want to be. We can't. I don't think we can have 100% in either. I think we need to choose, how much housing we're looking at and how much industrial commercial development we're looking at. We have to set a percentage because I don't think we're going to get any proposals if we're vague. Because if I was a developer, I don't know if I would do this because do they want industrial commercial or do they want housing? Because right now we've put both of them in the highly advantageous side.
I don't know. I look at it differently. I think this is the way I remember us coming at it back then was we want a successful proposal.
Right.
We're open to however that's presented to be successful. And while because I would hate to box it in by saying you had to have at least this much and they didn't want to do that or didn't meet that. And I think the other facts in grading it that kind of gets over a tie in those specific things is there was other parts to it, right? How's your financial model? How's your development schedule? How's, aesthetics? There's other things that allow us to break that tie if we had two proposals that were highly advantageous for proposed use and affordability. Which I think affordability maybe isn't the right word to put there. Maybe it should just be proposed use by itself.
Yeah.
Because affordability is a subset of housing use.
Right.
It's not
Yes.
the project's affordability, right?
Got it.
So
we'll
you're
strike that.
So you're saying that if we get somebody who wants to just develop it for commercial industrial, that would be fine, and somebody that wants to make it 100% housing, it would be fine.
I think under, we could have highly advantageous for both of them under use, but we would likely be able to break that tie in one of the other categories.
Yeah.
Okay?
And I think if we have one that's doing both, it's 40% of the units that they do define. So they could hit both of those and get a 10 in theory instead of the 5 and 0 and 5 and 0, and maybe
Okay,
they beat out the other proposals. That'd be even better. We have that many proposals to go through.
Yeah. No,
amazing.
that sounds good. I mean,
So,
I
I
agree.
don't know. I
Take
think-
affordability out of there and just say proposed uses.
Okay.
The the page before, we were talking about comments. There's the financial feasibility, and 2, it says proposal contains realistic and extremely detailed development operating budgets. So I think extremely detailed got to go right at this stage, right? Based on the feedback and who determines it.
Yeah. So I think this goes back to, again, we didn't want a situation where you potentially, and maybe this is dealt with in that reverter clause that we're now introducing. But I recall there was a lot of concern to make sure that we didn't end up turning this property over to somebody who on paper gave us a concept that we were excited about, but didn't have the financial means or the management team experience to be able to pull off the complexity of this project. And then you'd have to go back through tax title a decade or 2 later to capture this property and try to do this all over again. So I think we put some lofty language in here with the hope that we would get a lot of detail for you all to be able to review. In retrospect, I don't know that we have the skill or the capacity to evaluate somebody's detailed operating budget to know if it's realistic. And so maybe we need a different metric.
Or is it just that it contains a complete, or, complete
Yeah.
development and operating budget? If you put all the data in there, that's great.
Right.
If you put in a partial, like, we think it'll be worth this, and the math doesn't totally balance out yet,
Right.
because it's some high-level numbers that we think development could be here, and we could return close to that, and that we can fill in the fuzzy part in between,
Right.
then that's, you got some of it.
Right.
And if it doesn't have, what's the other one? Potentially unrealistic, I think that's probably okay to say. I think if something looks really unrealistic, I think most layperson could determine that.
So we can
Maybe? I don't know.
update the
It's a
section.
different way to go.
Yeah, just, it doesn't need to be detailed, but it does need to be complete. So maybe that's what you say. Complete,
Okay.
but not highly
Or
detailed.
partial, gets you, or mostly.
Yeah, I mean, that's been my concern throughout this, is that we don't stop anyone from wanting to look at this project or look at the development of the site as a goal and be turned off because they don't meet certain criteria.
Right.
And as the chair said, the consensus in the town most of the time has always been we want a tax base,
Right.
an industrial tax base, and that's, you're not going to get that particularly with housing and development.
Well,
If you do a combination of high end and condos and mixed use.
I mean, we'll get the value, but because we split our rate, the taxes won't be as great in the residential side. But it would still be bringing in overall value for the overall value of the community. It still would increase the tax base.
Well, our
And share
Shared
the burden.
Drive project is the same thing. I mean,
Agreed.
Right.
That's how we wound up with 8 units that
Yeah.
weren't senior housing when we were looking for 100%.
Well, and
Correct.
it's been a while since we've brought this to the public's domain, and our people have moved in and moved out, and things have changed. So
Things have gotten more expensive
they have definitely gotten more expensive
for everybody.
But I just think that the statement that people aren't looking for housing and for it to be developed, I don't think that's so 100% true anymore. I think that there's been an evolution in that their children can't stay in the area because there's no housing, right, and that sort of thing, or they want to downsize and they can't because they don't want to leave the community. So, but if you're going to lessen the burden on highly advantageous for the financials, we need to come up with a different proposal for advantageous, because that says contains realistic development and operating budgets. And if we don't have the extreme detail, we have to figure out another tier for the highly advantageous. Maybe complete?
I think complete for highly would make sense. Just a complete development and operating budget.
Okay.
Advantageous, I don't know if realistic's the right word. Maybe it's because then again we're gauging what's realistic.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it I don't know, mostly complete? Sounds odd. I don't want to say partial, but partial, I guess, is really what we're saying, or what I'm saying. I don't know, maybe 75% if we want to just try to think in that way, because
You could say 100% budget and that, or developing budget, because you don't want to say detail, because there are some things they can't calculate out, right?
Right.
But if it's complete, 100% complete, maybe advantageous is 80% complete instead. I would make it a small, and not advantageous is 50% or
yeah,
less.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah,
I think that makes sense.
yeah,
Okay.
makes sense.
And I think if it's rents, that's clearly in there, and success in securing funding is prior project experience and stuff will come through in the finances. That's probably more telling or more telling. So,
Right.
what were the other questions on here? We covered the minimum one already.
There was the locus map. They suggested a
yep.
series of maps, town level and region, neighborhood, parcel and neighborhood, and finally a parcel map.
Well, not knowing who those numbers are, I'm assuming neither of those is us asking the question or answering it.
Yes.
One of the things that might be helpful is a topo map, topography on exactly how much of it is actually flat
Okay.
and
Or isn't.
or isn't, because
We can certainly do that.
that might make a difference in their proposal. It all looks flat here, but we happen to know it's not.
Absolutely.
So under Article 2 of it, the development costs,
Article 2 of which page are we on?
I'm on 72 in the packet, 22 in the proposal.
Scroll on. Okay.
2.3 has got comments on it there about all costs and all that. I think it's subject to change. It's a sample agreement, it's fine, but we
Yes.
have funding. So I don't, without giving through the whole thing again, is that just not in the right place for where it would be? Because it says it's 100% on the developer.
So you're right, this is a sample agreement subject to change.
Yeah.
In the body of the RFP, we're very clear about what is available.
Okay.
So we've made them aware of what's remaining of the site readiness grant. It's the 600,000 minus what we spent on the consultant, and then the 600,000 that's been approved at town meeting.
Okay.
And we require that they respond how they would best recommend the town use that money to prepare the site to be ready for development. And if they would not need that funding from either party, the state or us, to move forward, to state that explicitly.
Illustrate that.
Yep.
Okay.
So yes, we could, if you wanted to, we could just make a subnote here that this is standard language, subject to change in response to the proposer's answer to that question.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted that section to say this
Just
would
a
change
footnote.
depending on, the
Right.
proposed use of matching funds from the town or whatever,
Correct.
however best to word it to match. But
Correct.
I'd hate for that to look like it contradicts that there is some
So
potential
why
help.
don't I put a footnote there? I can't even imagine what language would be sufficient to capture the range of things that you may get for answers.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would just
So we'll
want to
just
say,
footnote
that development or the additional municipal side funding would be denoted as appropriate based on the proposed use or proposed funding and
Okay.
incorporation of those funds.
So we'll do
Something that just says that those might be there, because that says there isn't any.
So we'll go through the sample agreement in the appendice, and anything that has language that was part of the sample that may look different depending on the proposal that comes through. I'm thinking the affordability if they propose housing units. That we'll make footnotes on every one of those. That all of this is subject to being revised and updated based on the selected proposal and what's embedded in that proposal.
Yeah,
That's
or maybe you
responsive.
just started to say could vary based on proposal.
Right.
Here's one type sample or something.
Right.
Just something that makes it clear that's not likely the final language or close.
Correct.
Depending on what they say.
Okay. So we'll do that.
So, with the changes that we're talking about, can we still meet August 19th?
That was
Is
just
it
my
there?
recommendation. I believe yes.
Okay.
If you all are willing, I know you haven't discussed your schedule yet, but if you're willing to look at it, your next August date revised, assuming you're happy with it, then yes. Worst case, you decide no, you're not happy with it, and that still gives us another week and a half to finalize any changes that you do want. Or if you still think that's too soon, we can stop advertising and stop anything that we would have done to go live, and we can postpone that date.
I would like to move forward with it, so I'm hoping that we
Right.
can.
I would
Okay.
too.
I think we should have finance and capital take a look at it, especially since they were, advocated for the money to help with this.
Okay.
And
Yep.
so we can get it over to them as well, and whether that's the joint that we have in August
Okay.
to talk about this too,
Okay.
or give them an opportunity to, review it on their time and get back to us. That's
Okay.
fine too.
Happy to.
You just made me think back to the financial piece when you were talking about the potential use of municipal funds and the other money.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that should be more part of the financial criteria in the proposal.
Go backing up to the.
Just thinking about,
grading
like, we were
criteria?
struggling with how do we say it contains, fully developed operating budget, but do we say maybe has a development and operating budget and has a well thought out use of the town
Oh,
funds,
yes.
like the
Yes.
600, some way of referencing the use of those funds as part of your financial plan being
That would be
advantageous or not. Like, I think that's a good driver for that.
As its own separate bullet under there?
Yes,
or
that
as
would be
part of-
highly advantageous if you've already detailed how you're going to use our money, since it's already in the body of the proposal.
So the first one's talking about their detailed development operating budget. A separate one would be
How are you going to use
a
our money?
well-developed proposal on how to use the site readiness funding for mass development in the town.
Yeah, how do we reference that up above? Is there specific language that we talk about what
It's
they're-
from the
how they're
state. It's
proposing?
called site readiness program funding,
Okay.
and so
It's the SRP.
that's the abbreviation they keep using.
Yep.
So I don't know that we want to use anything different. It'll just be confusing to call it the
No,
two.
I wouldn't want
Right.
to either. I was just thinking what we're asking them to provide. I wanted to go reread that exactly because we probably want to reference that in our,
Right.
how are we grading it. That
Right.
you provided a really well done version of that,
Right,
Right,
or
and-
you provided a reasonable,
Right.
or it was unclear what you're doing with it.
right, right.
So that would be the not advantageous, that you don't address it at all.
Would you consider it highly advantageous if they said we can do it without the site readiness funding?
No, I'd like to see what they're going to do with the money that we have funding for.
Okay. All right.
But advantageous could be that you offer a bullet point, but it's not,
Not well developed.
it's not well developed.
Okay.
You just threw it in there at the last minute to meet the criteria.
Right. We'll use that money. It's in the budget, but you didn't say what it's for. We're just using it to help.
And I
fund
think
things.
maybe to that point, we can also strengthen the body of the document to just be clear that if they are saying that they do not need the funding or they're not going to rely on that funding, then how they are going to redevelop the site without the use of that funding needs to be very clear to us. It shouldn't just, to your point, be a bullet point.
I guess I cannot conceive why they wouldn't use the funding.
Agreed.
But
Anyway.
maybe,
We have this huge pocket of money that we can get. We don't need yours. Where do we sign up?
yeah.
I've received proposals back where they don't even fill in the forms that are provided.
I
So
know. So like,
I hear you.
it sounds like we're asking for not a lot, but
I know.
Yeah.
it can be. But yeah, I think it's just, is it a really good model?
Yeah.
Even if they don't use the funding, I think it's explaining that really thoroughly,
Correct.
like your fund, how you're using or not using the SRP, funding.
Exactly. Okay.
And then obviously, partially addresses it.
Right.
Doesn't address it at all. Those are pretty.
So
easy.
we'll make all of these revisions. Sounds like the most of our time will be spent on updating and revising the comparative criteria for your next review, going back and meeting with our peers and making sure that we've got all their feedback addressed, adding in those additional locus maps with the topo and other maps like that, and then sending it to FinCom and Capital for their feedback. Any other items you want us to work on before your next review?
I think that's enough.
I think
Okay.
that's plenty.
Okay. All right, we'll get going on it.
Great.
Thank you all.
Discussion of the clean energy siting permitting process and identification of a local official.
I gave you a few documents to review related to this.
Yes,
Is everybody aware what this is referring to?
I am.
Might be helpful if I just did a quick high level.
Probably.
Yes.
Yes.
The state has enacted a law that is going to reform how the state and municipalities by association handle the permitting for renewable energy projects. And I know that this is controversial, but they're referring to it as clean energy siting. So the large takeaways are there's a state entity that's been created to oversee the permitting of these structures. It lives within the Department of Energy Resources, and they have promulgated regulations, and they've created a multi-tiered sort of approach to the permitting. Projects that are 100 megawatts and larger go right to the state. Municipalities have a right to be part of the intervenor process, and so you do have a seat at the table. You can engage in the process, and we can communicate our concerns and advocate for appropriate conditions to be placed on projects. But ultimately, the permitting decision will be made at that state board, the Energy Siting Board. On projects that are less than 100 megawatts, the municipality can continue to be the permitting authority. The caveat to that is we no longer can do a multi-pronged permitting process. For instance, somebody needs to go before the planning board, then they must go in front of the Conservation Commission, then they must go in front of 3 other boards or departments to get their individual permits. Effective October 1st, every municipality in the state must offer a comprehensive permit, and it must be completed in 12 months.
Comprehensive or consolidated? Or
Sorry,
is that
consolidated.
the same thing? Okay.
They largely mean the same thing, but the term is consolidated. You're correct about
Okay.
that. What that means is the planning board still holds its process under our laws, but they won't be issuing their own permit. So they will conduct their hearing, whatever their rules require. The Conservation Commission will still conduct their wetlands delineation. They will still conduct their order of conditions process. They just won't be issuing their own permits. All of that gets consolidated into one single document. If we're going to approve, these are the conditions, and it's one document from all the departments. The 12-month period does not begin until a complete application in the state, as of July 1st, uploaded what that new application must include. That form and all its required documents has to be submitted to us in its complete form. Whoever you identify is the local official will certify, has 30 days to review those submissions and certify whether or not it's complete. If it's not complete, they have to respond back, tell them what is missing, and they have so many days to respond back to complete the application, and then it proceeds with the 12-month window. Or if it's certified, begin that process. That local official shepherds this all the way through the process until we get to the permitting process. If the town fails to continue to work through and eventually get to a decision within that 12-month period, constructive approval occurs. And we don't want to be in that situation. The appeal process through these regulations takes it right to the Energy Siting Board for the appeal. So if an applicant or a party is unsatisfied with the decision that the town has received or come to, it goes to them for an appeal. So, 1, I want you to know this is happening. 2, I want you to know that we are under a timeline to make this happen. 3, I want you to know that there is at least one action item, and that is to decide whether or not you're fine with the default of the local official being my position, or if you wanted to assign it to another official, but that is something that you all get to do. There is also the potential, if you wanted to consider adopting bylaws in the future. There's no requirement for you to do that. Some towns want to, and so they have provided you with model bylaws to consider. Obviously, those should always go through council and the public review process, but there is absolutely no requirement for you to do that. Some towns have just asked to do that.
So I saw in the document that you provided that it doesn't necessarily have to be one person.
It could be a board. That's
Right.
correct. That is correct.
I would,
Person or board can delegate duties and tasks and responsibilities as needed
Correct.
under that purview.
That is
right.
correct.
I'm pretty familiar with this, and I've been giving this some thought, and if we're going to have to select one local government administrative officer, I think it should be in the town planners department. They work closely with the Conservation Commission. They work closely with the Planning Board. And that's two of the ones that are in this category, and the ZBA, so actually three. And that position already takes all the applications in now if they need a special permit. So it would be nice to have it directed to one person who can make sure that the application is complete, then notify the boards that they need to start getting everything ready to do the 12-month timeline.
Right.
It is what the town planner's office was created for, is to facilitate the land use boards and create some continuity in our permitting process.
Okay.
So, building commissioner, what is that?
Building commissioner would be similar to Mr. Hawkins, who serves as the building inspector.
Okay.
So some towns may choose that position, I guess.
Probably cities, probably larger. Commissioners usually at larger scale.
That have their own office.
Their own whole, yeah.
They-
whole team,
within the
not
town.
just- not
They
just one.
eventually landed at my position or select boards because they assumed that every town had one. They at one point did say planners, and then came to find out that
Not
not all
everybody has
towns
one.
have those.
Realize the
And
towns passed.
Yes.
they then tried to name the city clerks or the town clerks, and then they came to realize that the town clerks don't have any ability to handle this process. And so, so that recommended local official changed many times before they arrived at us.
Yeah. I'm going to say CO or select board became the.
Yes,
But the list is really probably all the things that they thought of beforehand
correct.
that they thought would work everywhere, and then they kept checking them off that not everywhere, not everywhere.
And to your point, in big communities, they likely do have enough divisions and supports where it just operationally makes more sense. So it really is a local choice to structure it how you want to, but by default, the regulation, like if we do nothing, they will just come to our office,
Which will
which
be your problem
which is fine.
and our problem.
I mean, there is a default in place.
Right.
This just goes live October 1st.
If we don't
do
make
nothing.
a choice, that's
Correct.
what happens.
Which is why I'm advocating for the town planner, because these are important deadlines that need to be met, and we don't have a lot of time. There is required timelines to advertise and things like that really needs to be coordinated by one person, and our town administrator is a very busy person, and so this would fall into what a town planner does. Like I said, they already work with the Conservation Commission, they already work with the ZBA, and they already work with the Planning Board. So those are the three, basically. Oh, and the conservation planning and ZBA. So,
The other departments, obviously, the fire department should be involved in anything like this. Not that there's a specific permit, but there's certain site plan review and conditions that should be considered. Depending on whether or not there's going to be water connections, you obviously would want the water superintendent involved. And if there's any curb cuts or driveway access, obviously you'd want the highway superintendent to be involved. So there are other town department heads that should be consulted, and they should let you know. Obviously the building commissioner should be consulted, the electrical inspector. So there are some other roles that we outsource to for COG that we would also want to be part of the review process. But the land use boards are largely the big ones, and they're the ones that will be having the public hearings, and we're going to want to make sure that we conduct a thoughtful process.
and that's where I just wanted it. Oh, you're doing clean energy? Okay, that goes to the town planner. There is the email address. The application is on the town planner website page. If you have questions, you contact the town planner. Now, if the town planner will then contact the Conservation Commission or the Planning Board or the ZBA with additional questions, that's fine, but we have one central person that it goes to, and they can review the complete. And they also work, it's for them, it's their job, so they're working 40 hours. It's not an elected board, which may or may not get to it in a timely manner, just because life happens.
Yeah, I'm fine with the town planner. My only concern is whether the town planner will have the bandwidth to, when something like that comes in.
It will be an all hands on deck
Yeah.
situation
Right.
where we'd all have to band together to get through this. So I think to all the discussion points that you're all bringing forward, there's not one office sitting there looking for a project like this to come through and needing this to be busy. They are busy, but I think we would all have to band together. There are lots of critiques about this process. I'm sure the public will have many critiques to give the state about this as well. My peers, for all the meetings I've been to, have been very vocal towards the state about things that may have been missed through this process. For instance, there is a very clear provision in the statutes for planning boards and conservation commissions when there is a project that's being proposed and it requires third-party consultation to do a peer review and to give that type of fact-finding that you need from an expert that we don't have in-house. There's a way to take a fee, a reasonable fee that's been assessed, hold it in an account, pay those bills for that third-party expert, and then return what is unspent back to the developer. This process doesn't stop those other things from happening, but doesn't carve out anything for any of the other departments. So if the select board, for some reason, as water commissioners, you needed to review this process, it doesn't specifically call that out. Right. And so I know there's been a lot of feedback saying that there's some parts of the statutes that should have been included in this regulation that was adopted. Because these are complex and there's no way that every town has an expert on staff that can review this in great detail. And so we are going to need outside consultants. So I think there's more feedback like that where we're going to need to be able to bring people on board to help us with this. No one office can do this by themselves.
So can we add to the town planner administrative assistant?
You mean to help out?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think staff would.
That already.
Yeah,
Well,
staff would.
that might already be
We would certainly.
assumed, but
Yeah,
Well, we can only designate one, right?
you can only
One
designate.
or a group.
Right.
okay.
So we
And
could
so-
designate the administrative office, or we can designate the planning office or the planner, but we can't designate the planner and the admin and the.
Right.
Yeah, I was thinking the town planner would be the point person, and then they would reach out to the chairs of the various boards and commissions that need to be part of the process and coordinate everything, which is pretty much the way that it's happening now on the various other projects that we've been doing, where in planning and conservation they've overlapped. He's been there to help facilitate that, and it's made the transition easier. Like it's not starting from scratch again. So so I would assume that's how it would evolve, and
Right.
it would not be just the sole responsibility of the town planner. They would be the person who would shepherd it in, and then the elected boards would do their jobs, and he would just be the person that would hold it all together and make sure that our deadlines were met.
Do you have an opinion?
To have an opinion. We've had all these conversations in the office.
I'm sure
so,
you have.
So
it's not new to.
no,
the
it's not
group.
new at all. And we've all
new
looked at
task.
each other and said, where does it make sense? And so I think everybody's of the same opinion that
It's a
this
team
could be
effort at the
quite
end of the day.
taxing. We're all going to have to pitch in to make sure this happens. So to Jackie's point, we just need to know who the point person is going to be. If you want it to be me, I'm happy to shepherd it. I will turn to all the people you just talked about and say, I need help getting this done.
Exactly.
If you decide it's the town planner's office, the same thing will happen. It will come in and he will turn around and say, I need help, and we will all pitch in. It's the only way to get this done. So, agreed.
Town planner, I
Yeah, I
guess.
think that makes sense.
Okay.
So
So we need to formalize that for you.
I make a motion that the local government representative be the town planner for the town of Irving for the consolidated local permit application.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And then just in terms of our process, I'm assuming you all won't have a problem with this, but we met as a team internally as we've been going through these documents and trying to figure this out and reflecting on how some other projects have gone through their review process. And we believe it would make sense to have like a application review or a project initial review. I know all the land use boards offer an informal conversation with permittees when they're coming through, and that makes a lot of sense. But the other department heads aren't always at those meetings. And so we're finding sometimes an applicant will, in good faith, go meet with a board or commission to get some initial feedback before they start their hearing process. And they will incorporate that feedback into that design. And they will do that with another board, and they'll incorporate that feedback. And then the department head comes in and goes, but that doesn't work for these other reasons. And so we're thinking that doing something that's modeled on this initial conversation that you all have sort of through habit structured, that includes the department heads who also should be consulted up front, so that we're not constantly giving the applicant new information every time they meet with somebody else. So we may just try to structure, once the application comes in through that review, and we say that we've got that,
You're looking at the same
we can
thing
add
I
that
am.
in.
Yeah, they
Page
suggest
3 of the,
attendance of a pre-filing municipal meeting.
No, that's the one
in
then.
the sample bylaw.
That's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, well,
It's got them all. I mean, it's got health
true.
and fire and
It
everything.
has everything that we would need for that, and I know it could be in the zoning bylaw, or do we have to have it as a bylaw, or could we just have
You
it
don't have to
as a
do anything.
regulation or a rule?
You can make it as a rule that, or
Right.
We could just say
policy
we
that
would
you
like
adopt.
the planning office to follow that
Right.
when
Yeah.
they deal with one of these,
Right.
yeah,
right?
Right.
until you, and maybe we do it
Until we-
until someday you want it to be a bylaw.
Because it says not less than 30 days and no more than 60 days in advance. So I think that's a good timeline, and it gets everyone together. And yes, I have been part of the partial and the non. It can be very confusing because,
Right.
we talked to the Conservation Commission. We talked to the fire chief. It's like, well, you didn't talk to planning yet. And so it'd be good to have everybody in the room all at the same time.
Agreed.
Yeah,
So-
I think that's a great starting list.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody missing, let's add them.
So maybe we take that model bylaw, not, obviously, we're not proposing a
Yeah.
bylaw right now, but we use that as a model for some guidelines that we're gonna adopt.
Yeah.
We can bring it back to the three of you just for review before October 1st, make sure you're happy with it. And then we can put that out on the website and in other places that the application will be available in advance of October 1st.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like it.
thank you all.
Review and discussion of land donation offer of parcel 2-0-19 Jarvis.
So, Ms. Jervis would like to gift to the town said parcel. It's approximately 2 acres along the Millers River and Route 2.
It is used quite a bit. It's where they pull off to do a lot of fishing. And it would help us with our objectives in the open space. And if the Conservation Commission could hold it under that part of the law, that would be great. No value, it's not buildable, it's too close to the river. It's that tiny little sliver between Route 2 and the river. It was created before Route 2 was put in, and then it just went along with the parcel. And they didn't take it when they took the rest of it for Route 2. I don't know why. They just didn't.
Did I understand that others have been offered this prior and they were not interested?
So a few months ago, I brought a request to you all from DCR to see if there were any concerns about a larger piece of land that was being gifted to DCR for the state forest, and that is the same landowner. And it's my understanding, unless I misunderstood, is that this property was also offered to them and they weren't interested.
The state was not interested?
Correct.
I find that shocking.
Surprising. Yeah, so do I.
It's a tiny little sliver along the river. They liked the other part that they got.
Is the paved pull-off actually part of the parcel? On the parcel, or is it in the state layout?
You know,
The
that's,
pave, I mean, I don't have a current survey,
Just saying.
yeah.
but it
Green
should not be.
International might.
Right. Actually, that's a fair point. I can double check their plans, but it should be in the state layout. It should not be on private land, unless they have an easement.
Should I understand? It's
I don't have-
pretty wide.
I don't have this survey with me, but we can
I
check.
don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking as we're talking
And
about
to be
that.
clear, what's in your documents, and for
I
anybody who
know.
looks at the packet,
Scale, exactly.
they are not the scale, and it's the best representation from the assessor's data overlaid with GIS. it can be off by a meter or two, and so yeah,
This is not a surveyed
it is not a
scale
survey.
map that's exact. I
And,
get
and
that.
the parcel in question was never surveyed. It was like part of the old, really big piece, and then,
Not surprised.
you know.
Then
so-
the highway came through.
Yeah, and the highway came through, and then over the course of the years when the land got sold, they just wound up with that little extra piece.
Right.
So,
And the other side of the boundary that doesn't quite follow the river is just random, like, because the bounds inside is the river itself, technically in between, right?
well, or it could be to where, well, it could be to the low water mark.
okay, I got you.
I mean,
Just very odd.
historically, that all the land along the river would have been used for the mill rights, you know, for the water rights.
Got it.
So they would have said to the low mark, so it's
Here's the
underwater.
river-ish. Yeah, okay, that's fine. That makes more sense now. It's not meant to follow it logically and
No,
the way we
no.
look at it.
And the
at all.
river has changed over the years, and the boundaries have moved, so.
I bet.
But it's not very much.
Bill? What's your take on that parcel?
I think we should move it to Conservation Commission and that we should take the property.
Okay.
It
If
should
they're
be
interested.
within the bounds of Irving.
So what
And,
is the tax base on that property?
I would,
Like
Tiny.
nothing, almost nothing?
No, yeah.
Okay.
It's severely
I guess the only thing else
depreciated.
I would add to that is could we include the state boundaries that are marked on Route 2 in any of these documents, so we have a clear delineation as well as along with whatever else will be recorded.
So to Chairman Smith's point, we do have a draft of Route 2 designs that were being done, and they do include survey
Okay.
bounds. We can certainly use that as reference.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for something, if the town truly does want to accept this gift, and you really do want to have a recordable document, we really should have it surveyed. And so I could ask what that would cost, but
Could we use the bounds of the highway and then just use what is referenced on the other side since it's in the river anyway?
you're not going to get a surveyor to.
Do that side, and I don't want to. But no, what I'm saying is that if they just had a survey of Route 2
Yeah.
and where those bounds are, wouldn't they be one and the same if we were going to officially take from the highway to?
It'd be close.
You could say
It's
to
not
the
Who owns
river's
between
edge.
them?
Right.
You could say to the river's edge, or you could look at the original language in the
Yeah.
deed. I mean, I think a surveyor might be able to come up with an approximate with the fuzzy language that
Right.
says to the low mark in the river, which
Right.
there's not. It
Yeah,
varies,
no, of
right?
course.
And
I just
and-
meant we don't have to resurvey the bounds on the highway side.
yeah.
If they've just done
Agreed,
them,
agreed.
just
They would
use
do
them.
that.
They are what they
Correct.
are. They're known.
Correct. But you'd still be engaging the services of a surveyor for recordable
Language.
documentation.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay,
So
I get it.
there's no way to
Or you just
avoid that
I follow what you're
unless
saying
you
now.
don't want a recordable map.
No, I would. I
Yeah.
think we need a recording.
Okay. So
I feel like
then,
we've run into that too many
so then I
times.
would also have to get you a cost proposal on that.
Okay.
Okay.
And obviously, we would have to engage counsel just for the taking documents to accept the gift and be able to record a quick claim deed.
So should our office let the donor know that we want to proceed, but that we're going to give this to the Conservation Commission?
We can absolutely do that.
To move forward with.
We can absolutely do that.
Okay.
Assuming they want it. If they don't, then we'll refer back to us and we'll figure out what we
Right.
want to do from there.
We can at least let them know that you all have had this initial conversation and that there's preliminary interest and that you're referring the matter to Concom.
and that it would meet some of our goals in the open space.
Yes.
I think that's
Yep.
important.
Yep.
That we continue meeting our goals with the open space plan. And I know that the conservation is keen on some of that. So.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. You're going to pass on the same context you gave us, right?
I will send, the only thing I'm going to change in there is that you met about it tonight and you're referring
Add a
to,
little more.
that's it.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you all.
Review and potential approval of solicitation permit application for Sean Newton.
Yes. And while the bylaw gives you a 12-month period that you can award the registration or the permit, the applicant's only seeking through December.
I have no concerns.
Me neither.
I make a motion to issue a solicitation permit to Sean Newton effective July 27th, 2026 through December 31st, 2026.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Review of position descriptions for Assistant Chief, Wastewater and Water Operator, and Treatment Operator. For clarity, Treatment Operator being the second one,
Yes.
separate from the other.
Too many ands. So hopefully my memo helped give the context as to why I'm asking for this.
Mm-hmm.
Cleanup and organization.
Yes,
I'll take
please.
Any comments or concerns
no
on the
comments.
draft so far?
No
No.
concern at this point?
Do you want to bring back a clean copy for next one more read, or
You
we'll
got
wait to
it.
do 3 reads anyway? So
I'll bring you back a clean copy for your next meeting.
Yeah.
You got
Mm-hmm.
it. Okay.
thank you.
Thank you all.
Review and approval of agreements with Franklin County Solid Waste Management District for household hazardous waste collection, the hauling and disposal of solid waste, recyclables, bulky waste, and scrap metal, and the hauling and disposal of sludge.
And all of those are in that blue folder next to you.
Any questions or concerns with any of them?
None.
No.
So I make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Town of Erving and the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District for fiscal 2027 for household hazardous waste collection.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Town of Erving and the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District for fiscal year 2027 for the hauling of recyclables and hauling and disposal of solid waste, hauling and disposal of bulky waste, and hauling and disposal of scrap metal and appliances.
Second.
Well said.
That's always the hardest one.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's a
I make
mouthful.
I make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Town of Erving and the Franklin County Solid Waste Management District for 2027 for sludge hauling and disposal.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all.
Review and issuance of the first water commitment for FY27.
Where is page 188?
Any questions or concerns?
No, I don't have any.
Concern?
So I make a motion that we sign, hold on, I lost it.
There's a small packet.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I sign the Water Commissioner's warrant for commitment 1
Yep.
for fiscal year 2027 for $77.06.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. That's also in that packet.
I think I've got them. Pass them down. When you get to it. Review and potential, we're going to pass over review and potential appointment of part-time officer. Carry it for next meeting.
Thank you.
Ratification of the employment agreements with the chief of police and the fire chief.
No concern?
No concern. I make a motion to ratify the employment agreement between the Town of Erving and the Chief of Police, Robert L. Hoist, beginning July 1st, 2026, with the term ending June 30th, 2029.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion to ratify the employment agreement between the Town of Erving and Fire Chief Philip Wonka, beginning July 1st, 2026, with a term ending June 30th, 2029.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all.
Discussion of the Director of Information Technology search and schedule finalist interviews. Brian put together you're looking at
say
me
you're
or
on the
me?
committee,
I know
so I'll
either
let you
one.
do
I
it.
was liaison. I can do it. I'll do it briefly. But you guys saw the memo. We had quite a great turnout for this.
Yeah.
It was great to see. We had 16 applicants. We met on the 24th of June and July 2nd to review them and prepare, and we determined 5 candidates for interview. 1 declined to participate. We conducted 4 interviews over the July 8th and July 20th. And ultimately, we came to a determination of 2 finalists to move forward to the select board for interviews. The finalist candidates are Jared Barney and Samuel Lev. And so this preliminary screening committee also identified some questions that they chose not to use or may have broadened the information provided during the screening questions and proposed those for the board, and also listed the ones that we used so you have that context.
So, will this interview of the 2 candidates, obviously it will be public?
Yep.
And time period, length of time for?
We held around 50 minutes to an hour for the preliminary ones. I would say they varied, but the time seemed reasonably appropriate. Some went a little long. I don't know that we went much shorter, but so somewhere around there I think would be appropriate.
So are you thinking of scheduling it during a regular select board meeting, or do you want a different day?
That's tough. I think a separate day would probably be more appropriate.
Yeah.
I agree.
That you have to, but usually when you've done that, you've deliberated at the end about whether or not you're prepared to take a next step.
Mm-hmm.
And so making sure the 3 of you have enough time for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, given there's a couple hours, and then some
Yep.
deliberation, we
Yep.
can continue if we need to from there.
Yep.
If it was 3, I would say no.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
spread it out.
Right.
And I just, Brian, I don't know if it checked with you or if it's general counsel or labor counsel about conflict and whether or not there is one with my staying
I will
or
ask.
taking on
Yep.
the board portion of it. I will partake as long as there's nowhere I can do a disclosure. That's not a concern,
Okay.
but
I would think you could probably do, well, you can check with council, but it sounds like a disclosure is.
I'm assuming if the
Yeah.
disclosure is sufficient.
I will ask counsel.
Yeah, I wasn't concerned for preliminary screening, but just for the final, to make sure. Do you want us to try to figure those dates out? And then
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
need time
That would
to
make everybody's lives easier if you'd be
also
willing to
prepare
do
the
that.
questions, although I don't know that I would expect us to do that tonight.
No, that's fair.
Were you thinking to use a combination of the questions already
Yeah.
provided? Or something different?
Me? I wouldn't necessarily duplicate the preliminary questions, but
Okay.
11 of them. The 12th one I would, but
Right.
we also proposed 6 that we thought might be helpful.
Right, I
Look
guess.
for the 2 of you to come up with some recommendations for the
Oh, okay.
balance.
Okay.
Oh, all right. I
if
was
you want some
thinking
more.
you were proposing these 6 questions, which.
Well, the 6, sure. If you
I'm-
want no more than that, that's okay. But I would assume you would want to add a few to it. But
If there's a question that the preliminary committee asked that the 3 of you thought you would like to hear the answer to,
absolutely.
that can make sense. Or not only just the 3 of you, but because it's a public interview for the public to hear the answer to.
Well, I suppose, even though it's a question that was already asked of the candidates, I think that there's a couple in the interview questions I think would be good for the public to hear. It's a small, supportive community. What attracted you to the opportunity? I do like that one. How do you prioritize competing demands when resources are limited?
Which one was that, Jackie?
Let's see, number 2 and number 3 of the preliminary screening committee used for the following interview
Okay.
questions.
Do you want to run through them and just do them now? based on these?
Yeah, I
Sounds
mean,
like you
I
guys
mean,
do, yeah,
I don't
okay.
want to recreate the wheel here. These
That's
are
fine.
really good questions. I mean, this is a public interview.
Absolutely.
There's no reason why we can't reuse some of them.
Are you guys good with 1 through 6 that was recommended?
Yes.
Yes.
Any changes to them?
No.
No.
Okay. And then
You'd like to keep it around 10? Is that an acceptable amount? I don't want to get too.
So 4 more questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
9 or 10 is plenty. I mean, we'll add the. Do you have any questions for us? So that
Right.
could be number 10 as well, or. we can-
Bill, were there any that jumped out at you that you would like to see?
Or something else that we didn't address on here.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at, well, Bill's looking, I think that it's important to know how they're going to build the relationship with the elected officials, the management staff,
Yeah, I
and the
think so,
public.
too. I
That's
agree.
very important because this will be a very public-facing job, and there's lots of personalities.
So number 9.
Number 9.
Okay.
I like number 6.
Yes, I agree.
Oops. That's my-
Do you like number 2?
Yep,
Okay.
that's fine.
And we said number 3 as well.
Do you like number 3, or
Or
would
no.
you like a different one?
3 is fine.
Or, well, number 10's always interesting.
I actually like 10.
Yeah, let's use 10. We used it for the superintendent interview for the tech school, and it was very telling. So,
Okay.
Okay.
So we need.
I've heard these answers once, so I I can't comment because those were asked already, and I've heard them. It'll be
Yes,
interesting to hear.
well,
them
it'll
again.
be interesting to
It
see if
will
they
be,
differ
absolutely,
from,
absolutely.
from being on the committee.
Yeah.
We got. Do we need one more?
Well, right now I think we've got plenty, but
we have-
I want to
okay.
make sure.
Right.
So we
We may
got
have
1
one
through
more.
6 on the first list. Then we've
Right.
got 2 and 6
Yeah.
and 9
And
And
10.
10.
and 10 and 12,
Yes.
Okay. That's
which
enough.
is
Yep.
plenty, right?
That's
Yep.
plenty.
I
That's
think that's
plenty.
11, right?
Yeah.
I also had
Like that.
3 that somebody called out.
We
Did it with-
went 3 for 10, I think.
Got it.
We
Okay.
traded 3 for 10. That's what I heard.
Okay.
Okay.
But
And
yeah, no,
what
because
order do we want them in,
Well,
or do we want to throw
I don't-
in a
I
lotto
don't-
machine
yeah,
the
I
night,
don't-
the night
I
of
don't
and just pull them out of the
Care
hat?
about order.
Okay.
That doesn't.
I mean, I'd start with somewhere around 2 if it was me. Just
Yeah.
kind
The
of
introductory
Yes.
question.
introducup question, like kind
yeah,
of.
2 and follow
coming
up
from?
with, let's see.
I don't know. This I view this as a very complicated job. If he can't answer questions
All different
without
directions.
them being in order.
I don't know. If I'd say 2.
Well, you know what?
and-
Actually, that's interesting because
yeah.
it will have answered them in this order last time because that is the order that we gave them, 1 to
Right.
12.
Right.
So if you want to mix it up.
Well, I
Mix it
like
up.
question 2. I like question 9 for the start if we're going to do that. I think that once we get into that, well, let's finish. I would like to finish with question 10. And then we could throw in the 1 through 6
In between.
in between.
Okay.
Did I miss one? I might have
Yep,
missed one.
6, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, let's see. Where would we
We'll
put
throw
6?
6 in the middle of the 6.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's all around the
yeah,
same.
it kind of is. I like what you're
So-
saying. So you're saying like 2, 9, and then we'll do
Yeah.
probably like 1 through 3, throw the other 6 in there, do 4
Yeah.
to 6, and
Yeah.
10 and 12.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We will put that together.
Okay.
Thank you all.
Well, that was quick. I guess we did a good job in the screening
So we
committee.
need a date, right? We need a
Question,
date.
yes, now we need dates.
Yes. Yes.
Now I don't need to worry about time to do the questions before the meeting.
Okay.
Do you have any sense on just sufficient timing? Well, I don't know when everybody has time, when we're thinking of anyways. Let's say if they need time to give them notice.
I
So-
would think we would want to do it in the next 2
Not
weeks.
July, right? We're looking at August?
Right.
Yep.
Brian, you're on vacation, right?
Correct.
Is
The
it one of
second
those?
week.
Okay. The
So if we
second
do,
full
like-
week?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm thinking somewhere around the week of the 17th.
Oh, you want to push it beyond? Not
Well,
next
either
week?
that
That's
or
good.
we're without Brian, and I think that next week is too soon. But
Do you?
well,
Are you thinking for them?
for them, I'm just saying, you know,
I
it's a
don't know. I feel like we didn't give them that much notice. The first meeting, I think, was like 3 days after we.
I don't know their schedule, but I
Yeah.
reached out to both, obviously in preparation for this. They're both very excited to come meet with you.
okay. That's fine. I just was thinking it's a public interview. That's all. Just change.
Well, I guess there's 3 variables to it. One, broadcast.
Yes, right.
2, their availability, which we could always say no if not, but that assumes we're available. So, are we available on the 3rd or 4th?
I am.
I am available on the 3rd or 4th.
Brian, you,
As of right now, yes.
B and C, are you available? Thank you. So,
Okay, yeah.
want to tentatively say 6:30 is pretty tight. I guess 6:30,
Okay.
7. I don't know. What do you guys want to do?
Do you want to be here half an hour before?
If you want that, then let's do 7 because I can't be here.
Okay.
I wouldn't reliably be here any sooner.
Well, I was
Okay,
thinking
6:30
7 and
6:30 is
8,
questionable. 7
and
and
8, 7 to 8, and then 8 to 9.
That sounds
Okay.
good to me.
All right.
Okay.
7 to 8, 8 to 9. Do we want to put any pre-time on? I don't think we need it, but we can. No, just plan to meet at 7.
And this is the only topic, is just to conduct
Yes.
interviews
Yeah.
and deliberate.
Yep.
Okay.
That's it.
Does that work? So if they're available on the 3rd, could we do the same on the 4th if they were not available on the 3rd?
Yes, I have both days open.
Okay.
Okay. So 3rd, 4th, if not. And if not that, we'll look at something the
And
week
the
of
3rd is the
17th.
preference.
3rd is the preference. I mean, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you all.
And you'll let us know so I don't forget to put it on my calendar.
No, I will.
Because I didn't yet.
I will follow up with them first thing tomorrow.
Excellent. Exciting. All right. Then we have discussion of the schedule, select board schedule. Great segue. More scheduling. We can meet the week that Brian's week. That's not an issue if we want to, but we also don't have to. I think the time sensitive stuff is probably the joint meeting stuff at this point. Did we schedule that for the 17th with them, or did we not
You
schedule?
just said in August.
Okay.
So we need to find a date.
Okay.
No, nothing is incredibly time sensitive other than the,
MSBA.
well, there's the MSBA, there's the IFB for the IP mill, and we are in the middle of a few other searches, and so we may have more recommendations for you all. So just know that those things are coming.
Well, if we wait till the 17th, you won't make your deadline for the issue of the IFB.
I would have to advertise everything in advance and then bring it all to a screeching halt if you decide not to.
Yeah. And you're on vacation the week before.
Yeah,
Vacation
like-
is
like-
not,
like-
vacation's vacation.
That's correct.
No
it's not
work.
But the rest of the team is here,
I know.
to the chairman's point. So,
But I think your point is well made that we
Mm.
could push that to the 26th.
yes, you could.
We could see about a joint meeting on the 17th
Okay.
with capital and finance.
Okay.
Talk through the IFB, the other items that we talked about tonight that were joint. I can't remember what they are on the top of my head right this second.
Okay.
If there are other, and then that gives us time. I would be okay if you all are, if we have designer stuff for the 3rd as well, and we want to do that.
If we have
Get
it
it
this
done
week.
if we have it,
Okay.
because I don't think that's going to be something that we're largely going to make any changes to. We're largely reading it and adopting it.
So do you want to meet at 6:30 on the 3rd or 4th to do that, to do the designer
I would
stuff?
say maybe even 6:45 if
Yeah,
we
not
have
too
it.
long. Okay.
If we think we're going to have it.
I'll follow up with them as well tomorrow.
Yeah, and then by Thursday we'll make a call on whether we think we're going to have it, and we'll just set the time accordingly.
Okay.
And then I'm okay waiting until the 17th for our next meeting. If you both are, I can work with the staff. If there's stuff that comes up that we really need to meet on the week of the 10th, we can schedule a short meeting.
Yeah,
And
I'm
the staff
okay
can
with the
support it if
17th.
we have to. So, does that work?
Yep.
And then what does schedule look like beyond that
I was just making sure that BNCTV could be here.
for the 17th? Okay. Thank you. While we're doing that, how far out do we want to schedule? Do we want to go through at least the last of August?
It'd be nice to.
I would prefer we could go all the way into September, to be honest.
Okay, 31st? Okay. Both?
Okay. Yep, that sounds good.
Yes.
And then September?
Well, the 7th
What
is
the
Labor Day.
holiday? Is that the 7th? Okay.
It is.
Yeah,
Yes.
So-
yeah,
You could do the 14th and the 28th.
that would be kind of on the same cadence.
Mm-hmm.
We have some predetermined September business. I don't remember what date. There's some executive session business for September that we set. I don't remember if we set a specific date or if we just said it had to be in September. I thought there
think-
was a date.
I will double check.
Yeah, so
Yep.
tentatively 14th and 28th
Yeah,
That's
that works.
fine.
August, right?
of September.
Oh, okay.
September. Yeah,
Jump to the next month.
yeah, I moved my recreation. Well, we moved our recreation meetings to Tuesday. So
Gotcha.
What was the date?
The 14th and the 20. Wait a minute. Hold on. Did I say that right? Yeah, 14th and 28th.
14th, I'm on vacation,
Okay.
Okay.
and the 28th is fine.
Okay. Is there a date on one side or the other of the 14th that you'd prefer? We can't do the 7th.
That whole week, I'm out,
Okay.
and the second week, I can do anything there.
The week of the 21st?
Yep. Leaving on the 6th,
Okay.
coming back on the 18th.
Do we just want to see if we can go to the 21st?
Sure. I'm fine with that. I just need to put it in my calendar.
Yeah.
I don't double or triple book myself, which I sometimes do.
Saying all these numbers out loud and I'm not going to remember them.
We're writing them down over here.
I know. I think September sounds tentative because we've got to figure out what we had to do and if there's
Right.
other things that fall in. But I'm okay with trying to do the 21st if that's sufficient.
It's fine with
If
me.
not, we can fit in a meeting in between, and we'll do it without you
Okay.
if we need to. Does that work for you? Okay, great.
Okay.
All right. So 8/17, 8/31, 9/21. Some holidays giving us some longer spans there, maybe.
Yeah. And then
Depending on
9/28.
business. Are we going to do the 28th back to back? weeks?
Well,
Or
if
do we
we
wanna wait and
don't,
see?
that means we only really meet once in September.
I know, I saw that.
And I don't want marathon meetings, so I
I'm
would
not.
prefer to squeeze in another meeting.
I get that. I'm not confident. I guess I'm not confident yet that we'll be able to go to the 21st without a meeting.
Okay.
I just don't know yet.
Well,
with a
that's
few
fine.
things. So
I'll
let's-
pencil it in, and
Okay.
I won't double.
All right, well, TBD on that then, because I think
Yep.
we need to figure out what the couple things we already had out there in the schedule are and where they need to land.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
That gives you some direction.
It
At
does.
least it's August just for ish. All right. Review and approval of treasurer warrant.
I make a motion to approve the second accounts payable warrant for fiscal year 2027 in the aggregated amount of $382,077.18 as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
And I'll make a motion to approve the second payroll warrant of fiscal 2027 in the aggregate amount of $237,220.62.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the second payroll benefits warrant for fiscal 27 in the aggregate amount of $100,357.19.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I believe that concludes regular business.
That's correct.
With that, I'll make a motion that we go into executive session pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining. If an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body and the chair so declares, which I do so declare. American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Local 1725. And immediately following, go into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel and contract negotiations with non-union personnel regarding the town administrator. We will not return to regular session. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Brian, will you call the roll?
Paused again. Select Board Member Boyden.
Aye.
Chairman Smith.
Aye.
Selectman Bembury.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.